Dear friends, today we would be learning about basic types of photoelectric sensors or the high speed sensor. We would be learning about what are photoelectric sensor, working principle, type, selection and the manufacturers available in the market. So let us start with our presentation. Introduction. Photoelectric sensor. Photoelectric sensors are used for the detection of an object or a target with the help of a light. The light which is produced inside the photoelectric sensor is through a phenomenon known as photoelectric. So this is the reason these sensors are called as photoelectric sensors. Photoelectric is a phenomenon and not a specific type or a model. Usually we tell that we are using a photoelectric sensor in a packaging machine, but this photoelectric does not specify a specific type or a model. It is a phenomenon. For all the photoelectric based sensor, we say it as a photoelectric sensor. So whenever we want to communicate a specific sensor with anyone, we have to specify a type of the photoelectric sensor, which we would be learning in a video lecture. This type of sensor is being used for high speed detection of products like bottle, carton or any other object, whether it is packaging line or processing line. It is used for the high speed detection. See, in the photoelectric sensor, we use light as a medium. As the light is the fastest medium, so it is used for the high speed detection of the product. Its response time is also very high as compared to our inductive or the capacitive sensor, which works on inductive and the capacitive method. Working principle. So before learning about this working principle, let us see a photoelectric sensor is being present here. A blue color object is passing through the range of the sensor. As it comes in front of it, it detects. So a standard photoelectric sensor is being shown here. This is a basic model in which we can see a transmitter, a receiver, adjustable range. This range is used to adjust the sensing range of the object. If my object is placed at a distance of 100 mm or object would be passing at a distance of 100 mm, I can adjust this range at a 110 or a 120 mm, so that if any of the product is coming in between 110 or 120 mm, it can detect successfully. So now let us come on the working principle. So this is the photoelectric sensor. It consists of a semiconductor device which generates photoelectric light. This light is then incident on the target, and from the target it is reflected back to the receiver end, and this receiver end is having a lens which again is targeted in a light receiving element. The light receiving element is the final element which detects the presence or the absence of the product. Now here we can see 2 points, that is 1 and 2. 2 is means our target is at a distance 2. It is reflected from here. When our target is at a distance 1, it is targeted from the point 1. The only difference we can see here is that the angle of reflection when the object is at point 2 and the object is at point 1 are different. So as we goes on increasing the range, this angle changes. So this is the basic type of working of a photoelectric sensor. It is having a knob for adjusting the range, transmitter, receiver. This light is being incident on a product and then reflected back for the detection. Now, why we are not using an inductive, proximity or a capacitive sensor instead of photoelectric sensors? Why do we use photoelectric sensor instead of these sensors? See, there are many points, but there are the four main points. The reason we use photoelectric sensor instead of capacitive or the proximity sensor. Switching speed. Switching speed is high of the photoelectric sensor as compared to proximity or a capacitive sensor. The reason is that photoelectric uses light as a medium. So of course its sensing switching speed would be high as compared to proximity or the inductive sensor, which uses the inductive or the capacitive method of sensing an object. Photoelectric sensor can sense above 100 Hz in DC supply speed, and inductive or the capacitive sensor can sense below 100 Hz in DC supply. See, the meaning of this point is that if I am passing a product above 100 Hz frequency, photoelectric sensor can successfully detect. But inductive or capacitive sensor may not be able to detect. They may skip few of the products. That is the point which is being written here. It is used for high speed detection of the product. And in the bracket I have written in DC supply. The reason is that 70 to 60% of the sensor which do we use for industrial application is of DC supply. We don't use AC supply sensors mostly in the industrial application. That is the reason it is being written in DC supply. Now the second point is sensing range. The second point is sensing product. See, inductive and the proximity sensor is used to detect metal materials, while capacitive is used to detect non-metallic or dielectric material like rubber or plastic. But photoelectric sensor can detect both, whether it is metallic, non-metallic, glass, transparent or any other material. See, a photoelectric sensor can detect any of the material which passes through its range. Its working principle is not like inductive or a capacitive sensor, which use a inductive method and a capacitive method. So it can sense any product which is coming in its sensing range. Second is the sensing range. Photoelectric sensor is having a sensing range of approximate 300 mm, and the laser light is having a sensor range up to 60 meter, while capacitive or inductive medium may be approximately 60 mm and 100 mm. See, sensing range in photoelectric sensor we can adjust with the help of a knob. So if the sensing range is also increasing, we have to just adjust our knob as per the sensing distance. But in case of capacitive and inductive sensor is not the same. See, as the sensing range goes on increasing for capacitive and inductive sensor, the size also goes on increasing. And if I am using a capacitive sensor to detect a product within 4 mm, and in my future application I need the same sensor to detect object at a say 15 mm, I cannot use the same sensor. I have to select a new sensor which is having a sensing range greater than 15 mm. So this is the drawback. If our sensing range is being changing, we have to change the capacitive and the inductive sensor. But in case of photoelectric sensor is not like that. By adjusting the knob we can adjust the sensing range of the sensor. And the fourth point is the sensor size. See, as the sensor range goes on increasing, in case of inductive and the capacitive sensor, their size also goes on increasing. But in case of photoelectric sensor, the size of the photoelectric sensor remains same. Only we have to set the distance by adjusting the knob. Photoelectric sensor with different light sources. See, before starting the different types of photoelectric sensor, we have to first understand the different light sources used in photoelectric sensor. Because the light sources which are used in the photoelectric sensor, it's as per the application. So the first type is the visible red light. See, the visible red light photoelectric sensors are most widely used in the industrial application. More than 60 to 70% of the industrial sensors you can find with the visible red light only. The reason is that the wavelength is high as compared to other light, so it cannot be tampered by any other light. For example, if I am having a blue environment, so that blue light cannot tamper the red light which is being used by the sensor for the detection of the product, because the red light cannot be tampered so easily by any other light. The heat generated by this source is also high. Yes. Mostly small distance object detection is, if we are having a very less distance, say 70 mm, 60 mm, 100 mm, we can use our visible red light, but their sensing range is low as compared to infrared light. So in infrared light photoelectric sensor, the heat generated is less and the sensing range is also very high as compared to a visible red light. And this type of IR light source sensor is mostly used for harsh and contaminated environment. For example, in a steel plant, we can use this type of sensor, because even if the surface is being contaminated, surface means the surface of lens of the sensor, if it is being contaminated, then also it can work fine. So for that application we use the infrared source photoelectric sensor. Now the third type is blue light source. See, the blue light source we use for a perfect black body. See, if I have to detect any object or a target which absorbs the complete light incident on it, at that time we have to opt for blue light source photoelectric sensor. The reason is that if I am using a visible red light or a IR sensor, complete light incident on the product would be absorbed. But in case of blue light, it's not the same. Blue light source photoelectric sensor can successfully detect perfectly black body like solar panel wafer. For the solar panel wafer detection, we use blue light source photoelectric type sensors. Green light source. See, this type of green light source sensors are mostly used in the wearable devices like watches for the detection of our heartbeat. See, the green light is having a penetration power through our skin. So for that application we use the green light source sensor, and these green light source sensors are mostly used for wearable devices. We can hardly find this type of sensor in our industrial application. These types of sensors are not used for industrial application mostly. It's being only used for in some kind of the wearable devices. Multi-ray multi-source sensors. This uses a combination of red, green, blue light sources. Here we can see red, see RGBC. RGBC means the red, green, blue. C stands for clear. Means RGBC means it can detect any color products. C means clear. It can even detect a transparent film or a transparent product. So this is the most advanced sensor. This sensor is having the property of red light, blue light, green light. It can use for detection of any product. The best example of this type of sensor is the color mark sensor or the color sensor or the UV sensor. But this sensor is very costly as compared to a visible red light or the IR sensors. Laser light. See, when we are having extremely small object like needle at a very high distance or at a very small distance, for that application we have to use a laser sensor. The reason is that laser sensor is a monochromatic light. So that is the reason we can detect extremely small object. But in case of other light sources, it cannot detect a very small objects like needle in a high speed machine. So that is the reason we are using the laser type photoelectric sensor for counting needles. Now let us start with the basic types of photoelectric sensor. See, I have bifurcated it in 3 types. One is basic working mode, other is fiber optic, and third is diffuse working. The basic working mode, I have divided photoelectric sensor into basically 3 types depending upon the working mode, that is diffuse or the proximity, retroreflective and through beam. Fiber optic. Now fiber optic photoelectric sensor, we say it as fiber optic. The reason is that they use fiber optic cables. That's why they are called as fiber optic photoelectric sensor. And they are further divided into make, type and working. Diffuse working. Now based on the diffuse working, these 3 sensors I have listed down. These all 3 sensors work on a diffuse mode. I will be explaining all what is a diffuse mode in the further lecture. Color sensor, color mark sensor, UV sensors. So we can find this type of sensors in diffuse working mode. Based on basic working principle, so these are the 3 types which I have shown you: diffuse, retroreflective, through beam, diffuser, proximity, retroreflective and through beam. Standard diffuse sensor. See in this GIF image again, we can see a sensor, object passing. It sensing image. Standard diffuse sensor. It measures the light reflected from the target and not from the background. This we can see in this GIF image. Used for the detection of objects, cost effective. Consists of transmitter and receiver at the same end. For reflective objects also is work fine. Cannot be used for dark and white objects. I would be explaining you all about this point. Transmitter and receiver are in a single housing, no reflector required. Installation is very easy because we don't have any additional reflector in front of this sensor. Only a single housing product we are having. Sensing distance is less than retroreflective and through beam. See, in the further video lecture I will be explaining you all about retroreflective and through beam. Now for the understanding purpose, let us just understand that sensing distance is less than retroreflective and through beam. Now see, in this chart we can see the working of a standard diffuse sensor. On the x-axis we can see 0, 50, 100, which is nothing but the distance in mm, that is the sensing range of the sensor. On the y-axis we can see the color of the product, that is black color product, gray color product, white color product. From the chart we can know that if I am having a black color product, it can detect up to a range of say 75 mm, and for a white product it can sense up to a 250 mm. That means for the same sensor it is having different detection ranges for different color products. So this is the major drawback of a standard diffuse sensor. These are cost effective sensor, but this sensor can be used only if I am having a single color product. Say if I am having a black color product at a distance of 50 mm, I can use this sensor. And if I am having only a white color product at a distance of 200 or in between 200 and 250 mm, I can use the standard diffuse photoelectric sensor. But the problem is that if I am having a multicolor product which is having a black color also, gray color also, white color also, at a distance of 200 mm, at this case I cannot use this sensor. The reason is that if our product is white color, it can successfully detect at a 200 mm. But if I am having a product of black color and a gray color, it will not detect at a 200 mm. So this is the major drawback of a standard diffuse photoelectric sensor. They are cost effective, but they cannot detect multicolor product. So to overcome this drawback, further these sensors are divided into two types. This standard diffuse sensor are further divided into two types, that is background suppression and foreground suppression, to overcome this drawback. Diffuse mode with background suppression. So let us start with the first type, that is background suppression. So we call it as diffuse mode with background suppression. Means the sensor is a diffuse mode photoelectric sensor with background suppression. As the name suggests, background suppression, it is independent on the background. Whether a background is present or not present, this sensor detects the product independent of the background. It detects the light reflected from the product, not from the background. So the reason it is called as background suppression method. These sensors have a defined sense range. Okay. Sense range regardless of shiny reflection or color of the product. Okay. They can detect dark object even on reflective background. For black and white target, range remains same. Measure of light reflected is. I would be explaining this point from this graph. See, in the earlier graph we have seen, for the same sensor, if we are having a black product, it can detect up to a range of say 75 mm, and for a white product it can sense at a range of 250 mm. But in this background suppression diffuse photoelectric sensor, we can find that for black color, white color and gray color, there is no much difference in the detection range. Only there is a very minor difference. So this type of sensor we can successfully use if I am having a multicolor product. If I am having a black color or a gray color or a white color product, and if I am placing it under 150 mm, then it can successfully detect. The only difference is that in the diffuse mode with background suppression, it is having a dead band for a black color. Now what is a dead band? See, every photoelectric sensor when we buy, and we are having a look at the technical specification of that sensor, we can find a dead zone. The dead zone are those zones in which sensor will not detect the product if it is coming under that. For example, say in this black product, our dead zone is say 5 mm, means any of the black product passing in a 5 mm distance from the sensor, it will not detect it. So we have to always keep our product higher than the dead zone. Then only it can successfully detect the product. So this is the main difference between a standard photoelectric sensor and the diffuse mode with background suppression sensor. In this we are having a IR sensor also with very lower black and white differentiation as compared to visible red light. In this graph we have shown background suppression method for a visible red light, but if we are using a IR sensor, the difference between the detection range of black and the white may even reduce up to some extent. Now, based on the advantage and the disadvantage, we have to make selection as per our application. See, over here we can see the reflection angle of the sensor. If my target is nearby, it is having a different reflection angle, and if my target is at a higher distance, then it is having a different reflection angle. This is the angle between the angle of incidence and the reflection. Advantages: for reflective color it works successfully. For black and white color range also it works. Now what are the disadvantages? Sensing range is less as compared to standard diffuse sense. Yes. See, for standard diffuse sensor we are having more we are having a very big sensing range as compared to our background suppression, but it cannot successfully detect a black and a white color at a fixed sensing distance. Need to set minimum sensing distance as certain angle is being defined in the receiver for background suppression. See, this point I have explained here. Need to set the minimum distance. There would be a minimum sensing distance, that is nothing but the dead zone. We have to set the target greater than the minimum sensing distance, then only it can successfully detect a product. Minimum sensing distance is approximately 10% of full range. Say if I am having a range of 100%, the minimum sensing range would be 10%. That is, we have to place the product greater than the 10%. Then only it can detect the product. When two contrasting color black and white are kept at a cutoff range, it will reflect color from more reflective surface and toggle. See this point, I will explain you here. See, the maximum sensing range of this sensor for white color is say 160 mm. If I am keeping any product, if I am having a multicolor product, means I am having a black color product also, white color product also, and a gray color product also, and it is passing at a distance of 160 mm. For white color it will detect. For it gray color it may toggle. It may or may not detect at this range. And for black color it will not detect. So the problem here is, for gray color it may or may not detect. Means a sensor may even give multiple pulses for a single product, or it may even, it will not give any pulse. So never use a product at a cutoff range of any sensor. Not only for this type, for any sensor, if you are using if we are using the product at a cutoff range, it will not give a better performance. It will always toggle or may show a false reading. So always keep the product lesser than the maximum sensing range of the sensor. So this was the point which is being explained there. Diffuse photoelectric sensor with foreground evaluation, that is a diffuse mode with foreground evaluation. So as the foreground evaluation or the foreground suppression also we can say. See, as the name only suggests, it is independent of the foreground. Now here foreground means the product. Okay, when we are using foreground and the background term, foreground is the product, background is the background of the product. Now foreground suppression means it is independent of the foreground, means it is independent of the product. It detects the light reflected from the background of the product. Over here we can see the sensor is detecting the light reflected from the background of the product. If the product is coming over here between the background and the sensor, sensor will detect the product. Means as the light gets cut off, sensor will detect. Means it is independent on the product, that is the foreground, and it depends only upon the background. It works completely on the background. Background color, see over here the background color must be reflective, kept at a constant distance. It is similar to retroreflective. See, the retroreflective sensor is having a reflector. Reflector means a mirror-like object it is having from which the light gets reflected, and if any product is coming in between sensor and the reflector, it will detect. But in this case we are not having a reflector. Over here we are having a reflective background, whether it is a say a steel plate or any other product which is highly reflective, means any other background which is highly reflective. Its functioning is similar to retroreflective, but we are not having a reflector over here. If color and shape is also changing, it will not affect the sensing capability. See over here, the light is measured from the background. So if any shape or size is being coming in front of the sensor, it will detect successfully. Object below minimum level is ignored. See, there is no minimum sensing range in this. The prior mode which we have seen, diffuse mode with background suppression, we were having a dead zone in it. Over here we don't have a minimum level or a dead zone. The reason is that the light is reflected from the background. If I am keeping a sensor at this position also, it will detect. Means at this means at a distance of less than 5 mm also it will detect. The reason is that the rays are being cut off by the product, and by that manner a sensor can detect. Now these are the advantages and disadvantages. See, for irregular shape, color, we can use this diffuse mode with foreground suppression method sensor. Now what are the disadvantages? See, these sensors are less accurate than retroreflective and through beam, which we would be learning in a further video. Can be used for large objects, not for small objects. We can use this sensor for large objects but not for small objects. Small objects like needle. Example. Now here comes the retroreflective sensor. See, when we say retroreflective sensor, two parts are there in a package, in a single package. That is a sensor and a reflector. A reflector is a mirror-like object. If any product is coming in between the sensor and the reflector, sensor will detect the product. So in this retroreflective sensor we are having two types, and that two types depend upon the reflector type: normal reflector type and polarized reflector type. I will explain you all about the difference between the normal reflector and the polarized reflector. And in this retroreflector also, emitter and the receiver are at the same unit, can be used for large object work, but we cannot use for needle, pin or any small kind of objects. Now what are the advantages and the disadvantages? See, this type of sensor can be used for large object detection. Sensing distance increases, means when object is large and the sensing distance is increasing. See, this retroreflective sensor is having a higher sensing distance as compared to diffuse sensor. Sensing distance is high, the reason is that they are using a reflector. Transparent and opaque objects both can be detected. Retroreflective polarized sensor is used for shiny object detection. Yes. Can reflector can reflect the light completely, and if I'm having a shiny object, it may also act as a reflector, means it may also reflect the complete light. In this manner, sensor will not be able to detect the product. So if I'm having a highly reflective object, so at that time I have to use a polarized reflector. So if I'm having a polarized reflector, it will only pass a particular ray of light which can be teached in this sensor, and if any other reflective product is coming in between, it can successfully detect. Sensing range is more than diffuse sensor. Yes, retroreflective sensor is having a sensing range higher than diffuse sensor but less than through beam sensor. Through beam sensor also we would be learning further, but for now we have to just know that it is less than through beam sensor but greater than the diffuse sensor. See, over here there is the difference between the normal reflector and a polarized reflector. See, the normal reflector are used when we do not have a shiny object, and a polarized reflector are used when we are having a shiny object for detection. Through beam sensor. See, the through beam sensor are more accurate than diffuse type and the retroreflective sensor. In short, in these different mode, through beam is the most accurate, but it is having some other drawback also which we would be learning. For laser type through beam, it can detect extremely small object like needle also, which is at a very large distance, say 2 meter, 3 meter, then also it can detect. Large and small objects can be detected. Laser type can detect a pin or object with a minimum spacing of 1.4 mm. It depends on the beam size also. Yes, the supports for high speed counting as compared to diffuse and retroreflective. So if we are having an application for counting of needles, we cannot use a retroreflective and a through beam. We have to use a laser type through beam. The reason is that for the diffuse and the retroreflective, light is being diffused from the product. So this small object may represent a single object for the retroreflective or the diffuse sensor, and it may not work efficiently. Means for this all the 4 pin, it may detect only a single pulse. Means it will consider a single product for all these needles. So at such application we have to use a laser type through beam sensor, which is having a beam smaller than the pin. This is the most important point over here. If my pin is having a 10 mm, the laser rays which is coming from the sensor must be less than 10 mm. If it is greater than 10 mm, it will not work. Transmitter and receiver are separate and has to be aligned accurately. See, this is the major drawback of through beam sensor. On site, when we are installing this sensor, we have to install and align the sensor exactly at a 90 degree. There should be no deflection. This is the transmitter part and this is the reflector part. When we say through beam sensor, transmitter and the receiver both are coming in a single package. So these sensors are most costly as compared to diffuse or the retroreflective type. So we have to align this transmitter and the receiver accurately, otherwise it will not work properly. What are the advantages? High speed with a minimum gap between targets is accurate as compared to diffuse and reflective, yes. Supports a long range, yes. See, when we are telling through beam, there are also two types. Diffuse through beam is also there. Laser type through beam sensors are also there. For laser type through beam sensor, it can support a long sensing range. No deadband and cutoff. See, in this through beam method, there is a transmitter. That light is being received at the receiver end. There is no cutoff range like minimum zone or the dead zone. If our needle is coming say less than the 5 mm also, it can detect. So there is no dead band or cutoff. Only is the area between the transmitter and the receiver. If any object is coming in between this, it will detect successfully. Disadvantage: alignment of transmitter and receiver is the only disadvantage. Otherwise, we can use this sensor through beam, which is more accurate than diffuse and retroreflective. Fiber optic sensor. See, in fiber optic sensor, they use the fiber optic as a medium, and the fiber optic sensor always come with an amplifier. This fiber optic sensor is being attached to this amplifier, and this amplifier is then connected to a power supply. The application of this amplifier is to set the distance of the target from the sensor, and we can set different parameters in this amplifier: dark mode, light mode. I would not be explaining this mode in this lecture, but there are different parameters which we can teach in this amplifier depending upon our product. See, the fiber optic sensors, fiber cables are used as a medium. Small target detection can be done. See over here, the small target detection means that is the distance between the sensor and the product. Extremely small object, we have to use a laser type sensor. Uses photoelectric phenomenon. Okay, every sensor which I have explained in this uses a photoelectric phenomenon only. 3 modes are present. See, in this fiber optic sensors also we have 3 modes: diffuse mode, retroreflective mode, and through beam mode, which is similar to the mode which we have learned before. So in this fiber optic also we are having these 3 modes. They are small and lightweight. Yes. See, the space used by the fiber optic sensor is very less as compared to our the photoelectric sensor which we have seen before. Resistance to high temperature and have a high resolution. Yes, this type of sensor can be used in a harsh environment. Beam is small as compared to photoelectric sensor, so precision can be obtained. So if you are having a small product, so that small product also can be detected successfully by using a fiber optic sensor. They come in plastic and glass medium. I would be explaining about this plastic and glass medium, why we use glass type fiber optic and plastic type fiber optic. Signal to noise ratio is high. Signal to noise ratio means the chances of noise distorting the signal is very less. That's why the signal to noise ratio is very high. We cannot, what do you say, tamper the function of this sensor by an external light or a medium because it is having a high signal to noise ratio. Now over here there are few types depending upon the, what do you say, manufacturing types. See, most widely used photoelectric sensors in industries are of this type, that is parallel. The two white circles we can see here, that is nothing but the transmitter and the receiver. Generally these are the plastic fibers. Means this if I am holding the fiber sensor and seeing through it, I can see this manner structure. A transmitter would be there, a receiver would be there. This parallel type is nothing but the plastic fibers. Coaxial type, this is used for very high precision, very rarely used. Now when we are having this type of separated fiber optic sensor, it is nothing but a glass sensor. So the difference between the plastic fiber and the glass sensor is they are having a manufacturing difference. Plastic fiber sensor, these are the most common type and we mostly use for industrial application. Glass fiber optic sensor we use for high temperature and harsh environment. With the stainless steel enclosure it comes. Say if we are using a fiber optic sensor for glass production, for counting of glass, when it is just coming out of the hot furnace, at that time we can use a stainless steel enclosure glass fiber optic photoelectric sensor, because the glass which is coming out of the furnace, it is very hot and the glass fiber can work very successfully. If I am using a plastic fiber, then after a few months it would not work properly. So that is the reason and the difference between the glass fiber and the plastic fiber. Advantages: for smaller objects, space required is very less. High signal to noise ratio at sensing point as light is being transmitted. See, high signal to noise ratio means I had explained to you before. Glass fiber sensor can be used in harsh and rugged environment. Disadvantage: range is less than diffuse sensor. See, their range is less than diffuse sensor, but they can be used to detect small object and harsh and the contaminated environment mostly do use. And they are having precision greater than diffuse sensor. The reason is that the beam of the fiber optic sensor is small as compared to a diffuse sensor. Contrast, color and the UV sensor. See, these all sensors come under diffuse mode. The reason diffuse mode is that the light is being reflected from the product, means the light is being diffused from the product. If I am incidenting light on the product, based on the light diffusion it detects the product. This sensor is used in diffuse mode, that is contrast sensor, color mark and eye mark sensor. Used for multicolor mark in high speed application. Reflected, it consists of RGC type of source. See, we have seen these different light sources of photoelectric sensor. When we say at a color sensor, it uses all the three colors, that is red, blue, green. RGC is nothing but red, green and clear. Clear means it can detect transparent object also. Following are the three types: contrast sensor, also called as IMAX sensor, also called as color mark sensor. Color sensor, luminous sensor. So we would be learning about all these three sensors. Contrast sensor. See, in this GIF image we can see a sensor, a film or a foil, and a black mark on this foil. This sensor is detecting this black mark. After then what happened, this foil is being cut in a particular pattern after the detection of this mark. So this type of sensor we mostly used for bottling line. We must have come across this type of mark in our Coca-Cola bottles or any of the plastic bottles which is having a plastic label wrapped around it. So the main function of this sensor is to give signal to the cutter section, in which after the detection of this eye mark, the cutting section will cut this foil. So these sensors are called as contrast sensor, or they are also called as IMAX sensor or a color mark sensor. Mark means it can differentiate the difference between two colors. It is cost effective than color sensor, means it can detect only the difference between the two colors. So we can see here contrast sensor uses RGB source, red, green, blue, means it can detect all the color present in VIBGYOR. It detects multicolor in high speed whether background is shiny, transparent, opaque. Okay. See, in this sensor it is having no problem whether our background is reflective, non-reflecting, because it is having all the three light sources RGB, which can effectively differentiate between the two colors. Cheaper than color sensor, detect difference between two color sensor. This is the most important point in the contrast sensor. When we say contrast sensor, IMAX sensor or a color mark sensor, it can differentiate only the difference between the two color. Nowadays there are different types of IMAX sensor which can also detect the difference between three colors or four colors. But the basic type, when we say as a contrast sensor or a IMAX sensor, it basically can differentiate between only two colors. These colors are referred as mark and a background, so they are called as IMAX sensor or a color mark sensor. Mark remains constant, background changes. See, in this sensor we always teach mark. This mark is being taught in this sensor. So the background color is also, if it is changing, it will not affect the performance of the sensor. A white light, RGB, laser are some subtype of contrast sensor. See, in this contrast sensor also there are different types. White light, RGB, laser type are also present for long distance sensing. Over here the distance is very less, so it is a normal diffuse type. Comes in variant like IMAX sensor, color IMAX sensor. Basic working principle is the same, but it comes in different name. Advantage: use for reading registration mark or different color. See, mostly in our bottles which do we purchase, like Coca-Cola bottle or packed drinking bottle, we can find this type of mark in the plastic label of that bottle. Disadvantage: there must be a difference between mark and the background color, as it is compounding two lights. Color sensor: as the name represents color sensor can differentiate all the colors present in VIBGYOR, whether it is violet, red color or green color. It is having multiple outputs by which it can detect a red color object, a blue color object, a green color object. It consists of RGBC light source, that is red, blue, green. Clear means it can also detect a transparent object. IR blocking filter to reduce unwanted IR and light sources. See what happens in color sensor, it can detect all the color in waveguide section. But there are certain colors which reflects light. So it comes with IR blocking filter. If it is without IR blocking filters, it will not work efficiently if it is reflecting some of the IR light. IR light is nothing but below the red light spectrum. Mostly the light reflected from the multiple color product, it contains IR light emitting. Because of that, it may show a false signal in the sensor. Advantages: recognition of actual color of target, that is the waveguide. All the colors in the waveguide spectrum we can detect successfully. Can even be used as a IMAC or a product distinction. See, color sensor we can use as a IMAC sensor or a contrast sensor, but we cannot use IMAC or a contrast sensor as a color sensor. Can sort out individual color used for color sorting machines. Yes, for color sorting machines like candy color sorting machine, we use the color sensor. Disadvantage: see, these color sensors are costly as compared to IMAC or the ColorMax sensor. Because it uses all the light sources, IR blocking filter, its cost is very high as compared to IMAX sensor. Luminescence sensors or UV sensor. See, let me first explain you what is a luminescence or a UV sensor. See, it is called as a UV sensor also, and mostly they are called as luminescence sensor. They are called as UV sensor. The reason is that the medium used in this sensor is UV light. Means the UV light is being emitted from this sensor. That's why it is also called as UV sensor. Now, what are the application, or for what application do we use this sensor? See, in pharma companies, we usually use white bottles, and after the filling of this bottle would be going to the labeling machine. At labeling machine, the label would be wrapped in this bottle, and after that we use a sensor to detect whether the label is being present in this bottle or not. Now usually what happens, if I am having a white bottle with a white label, it becomes very hard for the color sensor to detect the label on it. The reason is that the bottle is also white, label is also white. If the bottle is coming without a label, it will show the same result, because the background and the foreground, means the target and the bottle background, both are white. So at this time color sensor would not work. So for this case we have to go for a luminescence or a UV sensor. Now why they are called as a luminescence sensor? See, in pharma line usually the labels are coated with luminescence material. This label is being specifically coated by luminescence material. So at that time this color sensor can detect very successfully. If there is no label, there is no luminescence material, and it can give signal to our system that no label is being present in the bottle. So now let us go into the working of this sensor. Used see, fluorescent and a phosphorus material, used for a material which emit fluorescence, used to differentiate target color and the background color of scene. color, means used to differentiate target and the background of same color. If my target and the background is having a same color, at this time color sensor may fail but UV sensor will work, because our target must be of fluorescent material. If the background and the target have same amount of luminescence, adding luminophosphorescence sensor to detect. This is used in pharma industry too. Say if my bottle and label both are having a same luminescence effect, so at that time we have to add more luminescence material to the label during the manufacturing, so that our UV sensor can successfully detect label present in the bottle. Now let us go into the working principle of this UV sensor or the luminescence sensor. See, over here you can see emitter and the detector of the UV sensor. This is Vibgauer spectrum. Say this is our target, nothing but the fluorescent material. Over here we have taken an example of label. So let us say this fluorescent material is the label and this background is the bottle. The light emitted from the UV sensor is always a UV light. You can see a UV light being incident in this fluorescent material, that is label, and when it is reflected it is always a visible light. Means a UV light incident in a fluorescent material, it will not reflect a UV light, it will always reflect a visible light, and this visible light spectrum, that is Vibgauer, is being detected by the detector. So this is the working principle, actual working principle of a UV sensor. It emits a UV sensor, but the reflected light is always a visible light which is detected with a detector inside the UV sensor. Now over here we can see some parts of the UV sensor. There is a photo detector, beam splitter, condenser lens, objective lens. Over here also we can see a lens. The lens, the main function of this lens is to concave the light receiving. See, when it is emitting, after then the light which is being deflected from the fluorescent material is scattered, because it is a visible light, Vibgauer light. So this scattered light must be concave on a particular angle. For that reason we use a lens over here. So this was the basic working of a luminescence sensor. We use this sensor when we are having background and foreground of same color, and for this one of the noticed point is that material must be luminescence coated, or it should be a luminescence material. Advantages: used for luminescence target like white label in white bottle. Checking grease in bearing. We can also check whether grease is being present in the bearing or not. Can also be used for detection if target is luminescence. Detecting glue on paper board. Glue is luminescence material like, so we can detect. Detecting label and tamper-proof label. Tamper-proof labels for mostly we use for our tamper-proof machines. Disadvantages: object must be luminescence. This is the one of the disadvantage, or we must coat the target with some kind of luminescence material. Manufacturer. See, these manufacturers are some of the few common manufacturer, not only for the luminescence UV sensor but all the sensor which I have explained in this tutorial. I have used these sensors personally, so I have wrote down these sensors, that are SICK, Prepler and Fox, Keynes, Bomber, Banner, Panasonic, Bulov. This sensor I have used, so I have wrote down these sensors. Thank you for watching this video. If you all have liked this video, please click like. Thank you.